to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Want to start with roll call?
Councilmember Stroman,
Here.
Councilmember Walker,
Here.
Councilmember Engel,
Absent excused.
Mayor Pro Tem Hagan,
Here.
Mayor Bellinger.
Absent excused.
Okay. Do you want to move to our presentation for Citizens of the Month?
Sure. So this item is actually continued from the February 5th meeting. Citizens of the Month, which include Lorenzo Martinez, Nick Umbaugh, Michael Herrera, and Kendra Lusnik. This was from an anonymous nomination, and I'll go ahead and read it aloud for everyone. From the nominator, a group of 4 individuals, Mike Herrera, Lorenzo Martinez, Nick Umbaugh, and Kendra Lusink, have been nominated for the from the Escalon Citizens of the Month. Their acts of kindness and community service have greatly impacted the life of a local senior in need. Recently, a staff member met with a resident who expressed concern about the upcoming winter because of her malfunctioning furnace and long broken water heater. This staff member, troubled by her situation, connected with a group of community members that are known for their generosity and handy skills, Mike, Lorenzo, Nick, and Kendra, to see if they could assist. Enthusiastically agreeing to help, this group promptly addressed the heating issue by repairing the furnace and replacing and installing the water heater, all without expectation of payment. Their actions were purely out of goodwill and a desire to support those in need in our community. Their gestures of kindness are a testament to their character and commitment to helping others, particularly those who are vulnerable and may not easily ask for help. This senior resident, 92 years young, living alone and facing challenges with daily tasks, was greatly relieved by their intervention. Their selfless acts of generosity make them outstanding candidates for Citizens of the Month. They embody the spirit and community and compassion that helps make Escalon what it is.
Good work there. I mean, that's awesome stuff to hear. You guys are model citizens. That's what we look for. I think each and every one of us should be looking to help each other when we can. So I say thank you from the community, bottom of our hearts. Thank you. We'd like to go ahead and give you guys a kind of an honorary plaque here.
Meet halfway there.
This is Mike for Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody together. Hi, Daddy. You too.
Open it.
Right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you very much.
Mayor Pro Tem, may I say something?
Yes, sir.
So, Mike, Nick, Kendra, and Lorenzo, actually, Mike, Lorenzo, and Kendra, thank you for going out of your way to help a senior. And, there are most valuable asset within the city of Escalon. And I can tell you that, in particular, Mr. Herrera's heart is about as big as this building. I had a situation before I was on council that my family and I were out of town, and it was beginning of August, came home on a Saturday night, walked in my house, and it was 95 degrees. Thought, man, what am I gonna do? I called Mike, and he showed up at my house Sunday morning with the part and said, that's all right, we'll figure this out, and recommended an additional repair. And then Mike went through a very serious family situation for the next 6 months. But despite it all, he kept checking on me to make sure everything was okay. And Mike, thanks for being a really big impact in the city of Escalon.
Thanks to you guys. We go way back, and I know you personally from when we were this big, and I know how big your heart's always been, and we always step up for our community members. We continue to do so, and so I'm actually very excited about our generation coming into this, and I thank you to continue to give back to the community, so appreciate it.
Thank you. You want to head to the consent calendar here. These items are considered routine in nature and are acted upon by a single action unless requested by an individual council member or member of the public for special consideration. At this point, do you, on the council level, have anything you want to pull? And the public, anything to pull? Okay, we'll go ahead and take that next step then.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Okay, make a motion to approve the consent calendar. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And no nays.
Motion passes 3-0.
Staff communications and updates. How would you like to start with that?
Sure.
City
So we're at the end of
City
the month,
Manager.
so we have all of our monthly reports listed. So we have the treasurer's report for January, our police department report for January. Also included in there is the 2023 year-end report for the police department, animal control report for January, recreation report, development services, public works, building, water, and wastewater treatment plant. If you have any questions on any of those, please let us know.
Council have any specific questions before we start walking through them?
No specific questions, no.
Okay. I guess you want to start with Public Works?
No updates this evening, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Police Department,
Nothing to update. I know Gus had a couple things that he wanted to share with the general public, but I'll leave that for him to share.
okay. Economic Advisor here.
3 in a row, no updates for today.
All right. Lawyer, our new face in the room here.
Brandon Klein filling in for.
We don't want to embarrass you or anything. Brandon, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all as well. Beautiful community. Been here a couple times, and I'm glad to get back.
Well, thank you for coming in for the night. Do you have anything you need to bring forth to us?
Just trying to have a clean meeting, and guys above board.
And City Manager?
Surprisingly, I actually don't have any informational updates at this time. I probably will have some updates to bring to you at next meeting, where I'll be caught up on everything from the last few weeks. But at this time, no informational updates.
All right. I guess
So
we'll,
at that, I do have kind of a question.
Yeah.
Jalen, I did see that there was a business moving into the old dealership. Do we have any information on what's going on with that, or a timeline when that looks like to be opening up?
Yes, good question. So we have all seen some of the work happening at the former Tom Hillier Ford location. A used car business called Two Win Auto Sales is moving in. They are consolidating operations that they have in Oakdale and moving that location to the city of Escalon. I have spoken with one of the owners, and they expect to be up and running sometime in March. We did see a Facebook post recently and said they're coming soon. So we do, again, expect them to be open in March. The ownership group does own another used car lot out of Manteca by a different name, Repeat Auto Sales. So they have a couple used car lots across the valley, I guess.
Okay.
I'd just like to add on to that as well. What was noted this round is that they have purchased the property.
Oh,
So they
okay.
are not renting or leasing, it has been purchased.
Okay.
Kind of related to development services, but as a friendly reminder, this Saturday, starting at 10 a.m., is the grand opening for McDonald's. So,
anything else? All right, we'll move on to the next matters presented from the audience. The public may address the city council on any items that is on the agenda at the time the item is called. The public may also address the city council on any item not on the agenda that is within the subject matter of the city of Escalon. Each speaker is limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. Unused time may not be yielded to another speaker. You may state your name and address for the record, however, it is not required. Due to the state law, action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda, and except for brief responses, the council is prohibited from discussing any item not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and/or placed on a future agenda. The determination of whether an item is within the subject matter of the city is a discretionary decision made by the mayor. At this point, we'll open up the matters from the audience presented. Anything? No? Do we need to check online too, or? Nothing there? Okay. All right, then we'll move on to administrative matters. We'll consider the approval of the nonprofit organization application from El Portal Parents Club for reduced fees for the use of the city facilities.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The item before you is, as Mayor Pro Tem Hagan indicated, we've had a few applications come in after January, and as we've indicated previously, we just bring those to council for review and approval as they're coming in. Also, the next item, which we'll discuss after this item, is the ordinance amendment addressing this to where if they met the criteria listed on the staff report, they would be approved at staff level, but currently, the way the ordinance is written, they must come to council to have their application approved for nonprofit status. So the application we have before you is for El Portal Parents Club. They have been approved by past councils, and if you have any questions regarding their application, let us know.
Any questions at the council level? Any discussion? I'll open it up to the public. Anything there? No? Do you want to bring this to a vote?
sure, I'll make a motion to approve the El Portal Parents Club for nonprofit organizations for reduced fees for the use of the city facilities.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And no nays. You want me to go read this one, or do you want to read this one?
For item 5?
Number 5, yeah.
Sure. So the next item is an introduction and waiving of the first reading for an ordinance amending Chapter 5.52 in Title 5 of the Escalon Municipal Code, which is fees for use of city facilities. The City Council adopted an ordinance back in 2018 establishing guidelines regarding the requirements for organizations applying for reduced fees for city facilities. Included in the guidelines is that the City Council is to approve all applications for nonprofit status. At the January 16, 2024 meeting, the council gave direction to staff to explore amending the ordinance to make the process more administrative, meaning that if the nonprofit organization met all of the criteria in the ordinance, that they could be approved for a partial fee waiver at staff level. And the proposed ordinance says city manager or designee, so that's what we have in parentheses. If this ordinance amendment is adopted by council, nonprofit organizations will no longer be required to obtain council approval for the partial fee waiver. Once the ordinance is introduced and the reading waived, it will come back to council at our next meeting for its second reading and adoption. And then once the ordinance is adopted, it takes 30 days to go into effect. And so it'll become effective 30 days after our next meeting, which is March 4th. So I do have the ordinance attached, which specifies the changes being made. And if you move into page 95, which is Exhibit A of the ordinance amendment, everything in blue is what's been added. And so typically when you bring things down to be approved at staff level, what's usually called ministerial, instead of discretionary, in case there is an issue where somebody feels they're not receiving due process or have been denied for a certain reason or no certain reason, we always add an appeal process. So with also giving that to staff to review and approve approvals in the event that they feel that they were denied and should have been approved, they have a right to appeal to City Council. And that is the last section, partial fee waivers, appeal to City Council, and it also gives a process for that. So in case anything, doesn't work out at the staff level, they can always come to council.
Any questions or concerns at the council level?
I have a question, Mayor Pro Tem. So staff, this refers to, excuse me, city facilities. And the previous item we noted was city facilities. So if they're a nonprofit, are the reduced fees available for all city facilities, i.e. the pavilion, the parks, like the whole gamut? Because everything that we've been approving is just for the community center. So does this apply to all city facilities, or what exactly does this apply to?
It applies to city facilities that have a fee established for nonprofits, which is roughly 50%, which would be the community center.
So the only one that this applies to is the community center?
I believe so. I can't recall, I don't recall offhand, and I could pull up the fee schedule right now and take a look. I don't believe there's any discounted fees anywhere else.
I know the field use
Is
at
field
Hogan
use-
is.
Is discounted for nonprofits?
Is discounted for nonprofit. I do know that.
Okay, so then, it's my understanding in the past, it's been for community center only, but that might be the only item they've been interested in at the time of application.
Councilman Strummett, you see a concern?
No, I was just
Just
we're
curious.
talking about city facilities, and
Gotcha.
but yet the heart of the matter is just, all we're talking about is the community center. So what if somebody wanted to rent out all the fields at Hogan Park for the day? Is there a discount there?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's
Yeah, I
a
would
discount,
assume so.
if there's a discount for nonprofits on the fee schedule, that would be honored under this code. Yeah, I just don't believe, and maybe that one's been a pass-through in the past with nonprofits on the fields. This one specifically has been aimed more at community center, and most of the applications, if not all that I've seen over the years, have usually been related to renting the community center because they're doing some type of event to benefit their nonprofit, and so they invite the community there, to have events there.
I certainly don't object to this ordinance, but I would request that if we could make one minor amendment
Sure.
and add a table that shows which city facilities fall under this.
Yeah, I would be okay with that.
Community center, fields, et cetera, et cetera. That way it's very clear, this is where you get the discount.
Councilmember Walker, you have any objections to that?
No, I agree with that.
Does it have to be a table, or can we just list them in there? You want an actual table?
Can list them.
Okay, I just want to make sure, yeah, okay.
I do think, I'm looking now, but I'm not finding it easily. Do you think that there's something listed on our website on different facility usage and which ones and what the nonprofit use is? So
I know we have.
trying to do a quick
page for
search,
each
but
park.
it's not being
Yeah,
quick.
for anything that's rentable, I believe they each have their own mini page.
Yeah,
It'd be easier if
I-
it's consolidated.
okay.
This
Yeah.
is an amendment to the municipal code, so just easier if they had the information right there in front of them.
Makes
So
sense.
what I could go ahead and do is make this change, and add it in, and I can bring this item. So if you want to, we can either continue this item to the next meeting with this edit, or just
Just one point of clarification, in existing code 5.52.010, it does indicate that the facilities that are involved.
city parks and recreational
Oh, yeah.
facilities.
So you want
Included
to,
but not limited to city parks and recreational facilities. Community center and city hall council chambers is listed in there as well. Hereafter referred to as city's facilities. Do you want to leave it more generally speaking like this, or would you like to specify more? Because in the event it changes, then we'd have to go back and add it in. But if it's generally like this is probably.
it's all listed, but as far as, I guess, like, I think what Councilmember Stroman is saying is when you glance at it, it's a lot easier when you just see
Listing,
the listing.
correct.
I mean, obviously, it doesn't take much effort to read it, but if you're moving quick through the document, but you're saying that we would have to bring it back? Is that what you're saying?
Can't we just, well, this is the reading, this doesn't approve the ordinance, this is just the first reading, so
Yeah.
if we can just add this addendum and include in the first reading, then could we adopt it under the second reading with that information?
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
To
So
make an update to the first reading and just have it ready for the second reading?
you could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and probably more direction, if required, would help to guide that. So I heard a table.
The direction is just, rather than have them in a paragraph form, just have a little list and list them out so that if anybody pulls up this section of the municipal code, it's right there. There's no dispute.
So if you look on our website, we have our page called Parks and Facilities, and it lists all of the parks that we have in town, and then it has Hogan Park and Hogan's Sports Field listed, as for more information, call. So to me, that would make an assumption you're able to rent the facility, and it lists what it has available at that area. And then it talks about, that it has Main Street Park, Brentwood Park, Dinosaur Park, Shadowwood Park, which these parks, with the exception of Main Street Park, are not ones that are typically rented out. They're not on our fee schedule, but what I can do is go through the fee schedule and match up the parks with.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea, because you know what they say about assuming things, right? So,
Sure, no,
Removes all ambiguity.
yeah, no, understand.
What I would recommend is just a definition of city facilities so that it's clear that, as Councilman Schrum said, that you have specifically, if you're glancing through this, there's a definition for what city facilities is, and it should probably make an amendment to the authority to charge fees so that there's no ambiguity within the ordinance.
anything else you want to add before we take it to the public? Open it up to the public. Anyone have a comment or Want to say something? Okay, bring it back for a vote,
Do we vote on this?
or
With additional language to be added for second reading?
Well, so if you're tabling the item, then you wouldn't need to vote on it. If you're planning on bringing it back for a second reading, then there would be a vote on it, yeah.
Don't our ordinances require 2 readings?
They do, yeah.
So then it's coming back anyways.
So you are comfortable with approving the introduction and waiving of the first reading and asking staff to add in the names of the parks and more clearly define definition of city facilities and authority to charge fees?
So I'd make the suggestion we table it. We have staff edit it, because there's not any
There's no hurry.
pressing, this is not a pressing issue.
No, in the meanwhile, they
So-
just continue to come to council until.
That way, at the next council meeting, we can come back and have the first reading with those edits put in there, and that way we can do the first and second from that.
And I think it's important just to make sure that Mayor Bellinger and Councilman Engel are okay with those issues as well.
Okay, well, let's table it then. I'm fine with that as well.
Item to the next meeting.
I do have a question. And it looks like exemptions or partial fee waivers, D, it says the partial fee waiver will cover half the cost of the then current council adopted rental fee. It's just always half? Is that what it is? We just half it every time? Or it's whatever, it's always that way?
It's always half, so if the
Okay.
fee was 500, it went up to 550, then we half it to the 225,
Okay,
yeah. So they all get adjusted when the fee schedule adjusts.
got it. And we're all comfortable with that
Okay,
at this moment?
yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
so.
Okay.
So we'll table it and then add that extra language and go from there. On to number 6 here.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. This item is an administrative item. This is a task, a report that HCD, the State Department of Housing and Community Development, requires. It is a progress report. So it shows the state how each city and county is tracking against their housing element and their regional housing needs assessment allocation. This is a report that city staff has done for a very long time. What is different today is we're bringing it before the council. That is HCD's preference, that the governing body, the city council in this case, reviews and approves, passes on the report. And so in this motion, if you do approve, you approve the report and provide direction to staff to submit to HCD.
And then this is just an effort to be transparent with the public, correct?
Correct.
Council level, anything? Concerns or questions?
Concerned.
No?
To the public, do we have any concerns or questions in regards to number 6? No? Okay. We'll bring it back. I'm assuming we need a vote for this? So,
I don't want to make all the motions tonight, but
I don't, okay, sorry. Hold on, where are we? I will make a motion to approve the draft housing element annual progress report for 2023. That's all I need to do.
I will second that.
okay, all in favor, say aye. And no nays. On to number 7. And this is again more of a transparency thing as well, right?
Yeah, this was I believe it was Councilmember Engel just kind of wanted a map being presented of what was going to be shown as far as microsurfacing and crack sealing. And we also have a few spots that are going to be getting striped as well with thermoplast. So we just wanted to provide that map for transparency. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Okay, again, any questions or concerns at the council level?
Justin, when do we anticipate this work starting?
It's hard to anticipate. I mean, really, you can probably anticipate closer to summertime, mid-spring into springtime. They really like to get consistent days of 70 degrees weather and above. So we'll try to get it done before end of budget cycle, but it could leak into a little bit of summertime.
So when we're doing the microsurfacing, we shut the street down for the entire day?
Not necessarily. It's very possible that it'll shut down for the day, and being for the day would mean shutting down 8 to 4-ish, letting people get out of their homes for school and work and be able to return. In general, we like to try to do half of the road and then do the other half, but there is a potential for those roads to be shut down, yes. If those roads do become shut down, there will be plenty of warning prior to the residents in the area of when that will happen.
Ever run into a situation when we go to do this work and people don't move their vehicles and we have to tow them?
No, we don't tow them. It just makes it harder for us, and they just might have a few extra things on their tires.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How are, and I should probably know this, but how are citizens told that this is going to be happening in the future? Are they, do they get a notice?
They will get a door hanger delivered to their homes.
Okay. Great.
Any further questions or concerns? No? No? I'll take it out to the public. Do we have any questions or concerns at all? We have one.
That's just one of two maps?
That's the overall map, and it's kind of broken off.
Well,
That's the one I was, okay, got that one.
Yeah, so that's the overall view, but then the other maps prior after that are just kind of broken up and magnified so you can see those areas more.
Altapena is a separate project?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll bring it back to council for a vote to receive this.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Oh, question?
Yeah. We're doing the Sanchez area there. Just wondering why we're not covering Burgundy at the same time there.
Because Burgundy was not crack sealed before. As you'll see on the orange there, it's microsurfacing, so that's when we go back after the road's been crack sealed, then we put a surfacing over to hold up more. So most likely, I can't guarantee, but in the next segment, that will be crack sealed, along with, after that, it will get microsurfaced. So it's kind of like a step process that we're starting to do to hopefully have more longevity on our roadways.
Okay.
So the process is you come in, you do crack sealing, and then the next year, then you'll do the microsurfacing.
That's correct.
And what's the duration of that microsurfacing? How long's the last?
It really kind of depends on the roadway, on the wear, but on average 10 years.
All righty.
This item doesn't need approval.
Doesn't need anything?
So if you
Okay.
guys don't have any questions or direction.
Then I guess we're on to council communications, and we'll just kind of start from Councilman Stroman and work towards me, I guess.
All right, so, was gonna save this item, for the next meeting, but I'm just looking for council consensus on a particular item, and to keep it brief, because we're just rolling tonight. I think the city of Escalon, we have an identity crisis. And what I mean by that is, in one location, we have the Stepping Stones to Central California seal, and then in another location, we have the old logo, Land of Peaches and Cream. And so I talked to the city manager about this earlier today, who's also communicating with Public Works. So it seems like that issue's being dealt with. But without getting into too many details, I will say that when I look at the flag on that side, the state of California flag, I don't necessarily feel a sense of pride. I feel kind of embarrassed because I look at that flag and I think, man, the state of California, taking away local control, taking away community pride, et cetera, et cetera. So that being said, and we can get into more specifics when Mayor Bellinger and Councilmember Engel are back, but I would like for this council to sponsor a City of Escalon flag competition for all of our school kids to design a flag that truly represents our community. I have some ideas I've been tossing around, and I can get into them further at the next meeting, but it's more so to engage our community and to help restore that community pride. So that when somebody looks at a public building or a public location and they see the City of Escalon flag, it really means something. I don't think we've ever had a City of Escalon flag before, so why not start now? So if I can get council consensus on that, I'll present some additional details at the next meeting.
So what are you specifically asking for, just to present an idea or discussion on the potential for a flag?
Yeah, the potential of having a, I wouldn't call it a competition, but more so a, get community buy-in, community involvement.
I see where you're going with it. I think my feeling would be I'd want to make sure that the citizens want a flag first off. And then if they did want something like that, then, you know, I'd be open to looking at, you know, how you would structure that, who actually, I mean, are we the ones that would vote on the flag? I mean, flags can be a slippery slope, so it depends on the flag you're talking about,
So
you know?
I'm not allowed to get into specifics of the discussion tonight, but
Yeah.
I'll give you
Why?
a brief amount of framework, if that's okay. So I was thinking that council advertises this to all youth 18 and under, don't have to be within the city of just within the city of Escalon. And then we get those responses, and people would design a flag, or students would design a flag, and then each council member goes through and picks out their favorite, and then we open that up to online voting, and then we reveal the flag at Park Feet.
Okay. I mean, I'm not necessarily against the discussion, but I'd want to approach it with caution. You know, I think that you have a lot of division in the country, and I understand where you're going with trying to get that camaraderie, that community together. So that's, I see the vision of what you're saying. I just want to make sure that it actually would play out that way.
And the flag would be a representation of not only our community, but of this council.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I certainly would entertain the discussion for creating some sort of flag to represent the city. How we get there, whether it is a contest or whether it is designed, that'll be in that discussion. I would like to discuss how we would like to get to that. But I wouldn't be opposed to creating a city flag and possibly having community input on that as well, whether it's, you know, whatever that age is, but that would be for that future discussion first. So discussing creating a flag.
I think the discussion, there's no harm in the discussion, and kind of see where that goes.
Yeah.
But I would definitely want Jeremy and Dave here.
And I understand what you're saying, Mayor Pro Tem. I mean, sometimes flags, at least in this country, represent different things. But the purpose of this is that a flag to represent the city of Escalon.
Correct. And I think that what you're saying, your intention is pure, it sounds good. I'm just making sure that we think about it from all the different angles. So, discussion, I'm fine with the discussion on it. So.
Put it on the future agenda.
Other than that, I was trying to think of a plethora of other items just so we made Brandon work, but can't really think of anything. And pass it along to Councilor Walker.
Councilmember Walker, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. So I don't have any action items moving forward for you today either. But I do want to say how excited I am that we have a new tenant in town at the new dealership. That's exciting, as that was a big item to fill. And so that coming sooner than later is great. And also the opening at McDonald's, I think this is great signs for Escalon. I also saw that there is some commercial land on 120 between Lopez Import and Orlando's over there for sale. And that's another great opportunity that has come up within the last month or two. And just for the community to be on the lookout, and if anybody interested parties or something you would be interested in, reach out to them, and hopefully we get some interest in that land and some more commercial development going on in town on that main thoroughfare that we have, because anything helps here, and I would love to see the Highway 120 thoroughfare developed and bring more business to Escalon. So hopefully that happens. So a lot of exciting things going on, and that's what I got.
Councilor Walker, just for your information and the public's information, Highway 120 does not carry the volume to put an In-N-Out burger at that open lot. Just for the public's information, there is no way that we can support an In-N-Out burger at that location.
Thank you for the clarification.
Still supported still.
The traffic alone, right?
Guess it's on to me. Obviously, it was a much easier schedule tonight, but thanks for sitting through it, and I appreciate it. The only thing I had was to, because I had forgotten to ask earlier, was where we're at on the trees with the project on as far as getting rid of the trees on the recreational space that we have out there, the perceived, that next expansion.
Yeah, on the orchards, yeah, so
The
everything
orchards.
has been approved, signed, both parties are in agreements of everything, they're just trying to get us fit in their schedule just as soon as possible. They did assure us when they do begin, they will begin on the Escalon Blow Orchard, so hopefully here in the next few weeks to a month, they can get started over there.
Great, that's awesome. All righty, well, everyone else, have a good night, and thank you for coming.
Should have bet the under.
Don't tell Dave. Don't tell Dave it was a record.
My watch must be broken. It's still
So now every time our meetings run long, we'll blame you.
43 minutes.
So, and
Well, Andy can do it in 43 minutes.
because it's been a while since we've done ordinance, but I've had some legal that reach out. You know, say if you make changes at the ordinance amendment, it has to carry over. But then I've had others say, not a big deal because it's on the first reading, like it's kind of working in government.
Weldway Steel.
Room in places, there's just.
Yeah, and I think that, see if this bet